when there's a couple of you and you're looking for, and you're both in academia and you're both looking for jobs, then I think it's hard enough for one person to get an academic job, and for two people it just seemed to be two impossibilities, or two small probabilities. So I think we both were kind of realistic that might not work out, and we also decided that we did not want to be the kind of academic couple where, you know, somebody has a job in 2,000 miles away from the other part of the couple, and that you only see each other at weekends. We just felt that was too much of a price to pay. So I think in some ways that's probably why my career has been, I haven't moved around as much as possibly I might have done had I been single, because I think then there would have been much more freedom to take things in particular places. But we've been incredibly fortunate in that we've both ended up with academic jobs in the same place, but then that of course localizes you.
Yeah. And were there periods where that was very stressful for you two?
In some ways yes, and in some ways no. I mean, I think there's a certain, I think when you are a postdoc, I can remember when I was a junior research fellow having lunch with one of the older fellows who was saying, "Oh, I've got all of this teaching to do this afternoon, and I've got to sit on this committee, and you're so lucky being a postdoc because you have all this time to do research, and you don't have all of these additional burdens." And I remember thinking, yes, but you have a permanent job. And I think when you are a postdoc, there is a stress because the future does seem to be uncertain. Of course, in life, the future is always uncertain. So any security you think you have is always, to some degree, illusory. And I think the insecurity you have is also illusory. So I think there was a bedrock of understanding of that reduced the stress. And I think also we
a bedrock of understanding that insecurity and security are illusory.
I think that's right. Yeah. Yes, that in some sense what you see is not all there is. Yeah. And I think also we didn't have this sort of view that if we didn't get academic jobs, then the world would end and our lives would be over. I think the fortunate thing you do have, if you've been fortunate enough to be educated to a reasonably high level, is that there are lots of interesting things you can do with your life, and it doesn't necessarily have to be working in an academic job.
So did both of you and Catherine, both consider that possibly one would be academic and the other one wouldn't?
Yeah, I think that seemed to be a potential scenario.
Yeah. And do you think your Christian faith helped you in that period?
Yes, I think it did. And I think it always does, because life is uncertain and there's lots of unpredictabilities that can go on, and there's always a sense at every stage in your life that you feel that the challenge that you're facing right at that moment, is the most important thing. And you'll know this as well, that when you're waiting to see whether your grant is funded or whether whatever the latest challenge is, it seems like an enormous thing at the time.
Yeah, exactly. But then on a bigger scale, it's not.
That's right.